At last, a video about how to cheat on the high set. You just don't see enough of these videos, do you? Okay, now before you get excited and start trying to turn me into the high set test makers, this is legal cheating. This is something that you can do with algebra problems that is made possible by the fact that the test is multiple choice. Now you're going to learn how to solve algebra problems, but maybe you've got to take the test tomorrow. Maybe you don't have time to learn algebra. Maybe you don't want to learn algebra. Well, at least a few of them it's going to be possible to solve by simply trying out the answer choices. It's something that you would do anyway, even if you solved it on your own, just to check to make sure your answer is correct. What am I talking about, you ask? Oh, let's take a look. This IXL exercise asks which x satisfies an equation. You could get a test question like this, although I was kind of amused because they're basically saying which value for the variable would make this equation work. And I went through and did a bunch of these, and none of them actually used x as a variable, so I don't really know what's going on there. But these are fairly simple to do. You could solve it algebraically. This one you could probably just solve by looking at it, even if they didn't give you answer choices. But what you do is this. You write it down, and then you pick one of the answer choices and replace the variable, in this case z, with that answer choice. I'm going to try this one first, 12. And you can do this in your head, but just to make the point, 12 plus 6, that doesn't equal 17, that equals 18. It's supposed to equal 17, so that's a not equal sign. That is not the right answer. Of course, if you were down to two answers and one of them didn't work, you would know the other one has to be it. Just to verify real quick, which is always a good thing to do, let's try, so we just said that 12 didn't work, so let's try 11, and 11 plus 6 does equal 17. That's our answer. Here's another one. And these first ones are as easy, at least I hope you find them as easy as they look. Remember 7y means 7 times y. So you could just ask yourself 7 times what equals 21, but if your times tables were a little rusty, does 5 work? Nope, 7 times 5 is 35, not 21. You're not allowed to write on the high set test, but in general, at least mentally, you would cross that answer choice off. The only one left is 3. Let's just verify 7 times 3 does equal 21. Bada bing, bada bum, you're done. Now, if the high set did not have multiple choice, or if this exercise didn't have multiple choice, then we would solve this equation algebraically, and we'd call this a two-step equation, just because, obviously, it would take 2 steps to solve it. Now, before any math teachers get angry and start calling me, like you have my number, you can't call me, but before any math teachers get angry at me and say that I'm just teaching how to cheat, I'm not teaching math, well, duh, that's the title of this video. This is actually good test-taking strategy, however, and you would use this to at least test your answer out once you got it, even if you solved it with algebra. So we're going to learn algebra and how to solve things like this and all kinds of things, but your goal is to pass a high set. That's what we're fixing to do. All right, so 12 plus 2w equals 22. Just remembering 2w means 2 times w. And let's try a wrong answer again first, just to make the point. We'll try w equals 4. So 2 times 4, 2 times w, with 4 being w, is 8. 12 plus 8, again, that does not equal 22. That equals 20. The second answer choice, 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 12 plus 10 does work, so that is the answer. All right, this one is a little more challenging. Well, not really, because you've got a calculator. I've written this with a times sign so that you can do this just like you would do it on the calculator, at least the calculators that they're going to be using in the Nashville testing centers. Once again, we'll start with a wrong answer, so this just gets rewritten as 5 times 7 minus 3, close parentheses. So if you enter this directly in your calculator, 5 times left parentheses, 7 minus 3 right parentheses, as soon as you hit that right parentheses, it's going to say 4. That's not your final answer. Be sure and hit the equals button. It will do 5 times 4 at the end and get 20. Well, we're looking for negative 45. So clearly that is not the right answer. So again, should always check your work. They're pretty good at coming up with wrong answers that actually show up when you make a mistake. So I would go ahead, even though there's only one answer choice left, and try it out just to make sure we didn't make a mistake along the way. Replacing W with -6. Again, if you don't have a calculator right now where you are able to use parentheses or haven't learned how to do it, simply do the part inside parentheses first. -6 minus 3. That'll get you -9. And then 5 times -9 does in fact equal -45. So that is the correct answer. Here's one that's a bit harder than anything on this particular IXL exercise, but I wanted to show you how this might work on the high set. On the high set, obviously, you've got 5 answer choices to choose from. And this scary looking thing up here is not really that scary. You'll learn how to deal with this. This top thing, this can actually factor, meaning it can be made of the result of 2 things multiplied together. One of those 2 things will cancel out with the thing on the bottom. All kinds of magical stuff will happen. You'll love it when you learn how to do that. It's really fun. But for now, let's just try out answer choices. First, I'm going to pick an answer choice to start with that is right in the middle. I'm going to start with this 3 right here, because if it's too big, I'll know not to try 4 and 5 because they're even bigger. If it's too small, I'm not going to bother with 1 and 2. Here's the expression on the left written down with 3's replacing all of the x's. When you've got a lot of stuff going on the top and the bottom of a division bar or fraction bar like this, let's just do it separate. Your calculator doesn't really know how to deal with that. So we do the top one, 3 squared minus, well 3 times 3 is 9, so 9 minus 9 is 0 plus 2 is 2. And then on the bottom, 3 minus 2 is 1. So when we use 3, the answer is 2. And that's not the answer we're looking for. Now I've rewritten the expression, but this time I replaced all the x's with 4's instead of 3's. So we know 3 wasn't right. When we put in 3, we got a 2. That's too small. I'm not going to try even smaller numbers. Sometimes you can't tell which way you need to go, especially if there's a lot of negatives involved. But in this case, I know I need a bigger number, so I tried 4. And on your calculator, pause the video and just go ahead and get a solution here. 4 squared minus 3 times 4 plus 2 on the top, 4 minus 2 on the bottom. Hopefully, you got 6 on the top, 2 on the bottom, and guess what? 6 divided by 2 equals 3. 4 is our correct answer.